So please help me welcome to the stage our first speaker, Mr. Joe Hart, CEO of Dale Carnegie.
So it was April of 2015, and I was in the process of interviewing for the position of President and CEO of Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie being a world leader in the training business with 200 franchise operations in 90 countries. And I was sitting in this Einstein Brothers bagel shop looking at documents that the board had sent me in preparation for my interview at the end of the month, when I came across this one document, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? It was a recent FBR, Franchise Business Review survey of the Dale Carnegie Network. And in full transparency, a lot of it was ugly. Out of the 8 major areas that were surveyed, 7 were well below benchmark. And some of the comments were just awful. I remember one, it said, "This is a yo-yo system, you're on your own." And that was one of the nicer comments. So as I was looking at this, I started to feel this almost just this pit in my stomach, because I knew Dale Carnegie. I had taken a Dale Carnegie course in 1995 that changed my life, led me to leave the practice of law, to start an e-learning company. Dale Carnegie became a client of mine, and I knew the franchisees, and I knew the transformational experiences that they were creating. And so I realized in that moment that there had to be a major disconnect between the company that had literally written the book on how to win friends and influence people and the franchisees who were delivering these transformational experiences. And so right there, in that Einstein Brothers bagel shop, I had an epiphany. It was really a defining moment. I promised myself that if I became the president and CEO of Dale Carnegie, that I would make regaining the franchisees' trust, investing in our franchisees, coming together as one business, my highest priority. Later that month, I met with the board. I shared my vision with them. They liked it, and I got the job. And that's when the work began. So the very first meeting I had was with the president of the Dale Carnegie Franchise Association, a great man named Alan Walker. We met in New York City, and we met for lunch, and we started to talk about where we were as a business and the opportunities that we had. And the mission that we had as a business that could only truly be achieved if we worked together as one team. And Alan and I that day began a partnership and a friendship that would be critical for everything that followed. And so it was Alan, about a month later, who introduced me before 80 franchisees at the franchise owners meeting in Chicago. And I stood before the franchisees and I said, there's a lot of things I'm real excited about with this business, and I have some concerns. And one of the things I talked about was our mission. We have a mission of unlocking greatness in people and in businesses. And we have to have a relationship as a franchisor and a franchisee that starts with, as a franchisor, us serving. You are delivering transformational experiences. We are here to serve you, and you need to serve each other. We need to come together as one Carnegie, not 200 independent businesses and a franchisor, but as one business working together. And I challenged them, not only around that idea, but also around the concept about being all in and commitment. The response was unbelievable. It was beyond anything I could have expected. It was thunderous. People leapt to their feet. It struck a chord. And Alan Walker later told me that day marked the beginning, in his opinion, of an unprecedented level of collaboration between Dale Carnegie and our franchisors, or franchisees. So what happened after Chicago? Basically 3 things. And I'll put it in an acronym, it's easy to remember. Listen, engage, and trust. Listen, engage, and trust. The first was to listen. So my leadership team and I were on a mission, really to listen to our franchisees and to hear what their thoughts were about how do we take the business to an entirely new level. And I remember traveling, it was crazy, in a 6-week period, going to Panama and Brazil and Barcelona, Spain, and Tokyo, and Phoenix, meeting with franchisees at regional conferences. And we asked the franchisees, tell us, what do we need to do? And they had great ideas. And some of the feedback was tough. And I'll tell you, I talk to other franchisors, and they'll sometimes say, gosh, listening is tough. Some of the things that people tell us are awful. And my thought is that feedback is a gift. It's a pure gift. I'll share a story that made it easier for me. Very early on in my career, I took a sales course. And I had to complete an assessment up front about what my sales skills were like at that time. And I said to the trainer, so how would I do? And he said, I've got great news. You have the potential to be my most improved student ever. It took a second for me to sink in too. I said, what? How could it have been so bad? And he said, well, you're a lawyer. 3 years of law school mess you up. But I listened to what the feedback was that he gave me. And I worked really hard on it. And as a result, I may not have become his most improved student ever, but I did become a lot better. I became pretty good at sales. So the key is that we should be open to feedback. The feedback can help us be better. It's like an open answer for an open book exam. And we asked our franchisees, and our franchisees told us, we need a One Carnegie culture. We need a thriving franchise network. We need to revitalize and elevate our brand. And so the feedback that we got from our franchisees formed the basis of a strategic plan, our foundation plan. And one of the things we teach in Dale Carnegie is that people support a world that they help create. And because the franchisees were listened to and were respected and appreciated, they embraced the foundation plan which has guided our business. So my advice is ask your franchisees for feedback and listen sincerely and honestly and give them that respect because it will help you and the business as well. Now, the second thing is engage. And when I came to Dale Carnegie, they had these groups called I-teams, innovation teams, that were franchisees working together with the franchisor on product and so forth and marketing. And some of the feedback I had was these were good, but they weren't really all that effective. So the Franchise Association, the Dale Carnegie Franchise Association, we doubled down. We invited franchisees to get more involved. We aligned the I-teams to our strategic plan. We gave the I-teams more teeth. We had over 75 franchisees get involved in these groups. It's almost 40% of our network. And one of the things I was really proud about was the relaunch of the Dale Carnegie brand. Think about a 104-year-old company at that time when we did this, changing its look and its feel. And we were successful partly because we had franchisees who were so involved in telling us and guiding us. So working together works. I would encourage you to engage your franchisees. They're eager and excited to be involved and can make a huge impact in the overall business, of course. The third thing had to do with trust. And this was a bit of a challenge because I'm talking about trust as it relates to our franchise agreement. You know, when I saw our franchise agreement for the first time, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is so one-sided. And as a lawyer, I thought, well, this is a piece of legal, it's a masterpiece of legal work. But by the way, for the record, I consider myself a recovering lawyer. Please don't hold it against me. But the other issue was that we had 60% of our franchise agreements that were up for renewal in 2015. And so for most franchisors, you'd say, no problem, just reissue the contract, have people sign it. And what we did was something different. We went to the Dale Carnegie Franchise Association and we said, look, we're talking about One Carnegie, and we're going to be hypocritical if we have an agreement that creates resentment with our franchisees, which we knew it did. We want to reopen the agreement, and we want to talk about issues that would really help us come together as one business. And so that's what we did. We created a representative group of franchisees and Dale Carnegie and Associate team members. We came together, I remember these 2 days, in Hauppauge, New York, at a Hyatt hotel, blustery February day, and we're in this room, and we're talking not about the things that separate us, not about we need these things or we need these things. What we talked about was how do we use this agreement to come together as stronger strategic partners? How do we use this agreement to support our customer more effectively? How do we use this agreement to drive greater global sales? And if you had walked into that room, you would not have been able to tell who the franchisees were and who the franchisor was. We truly came together, and we came up with a franchise agreement that 95% of the eligible franchisees have signed. It's good for the franchisees. It's good for us as a franchisor, too. And it's created enormous goodwill because the franchisees have said, you put your money where your mouth is. You really mean One Carnegie. You really mean we're going to work together as a team. So trust the process. Trust your franchisees, and you can see great things as a result. So what are some of the things that we've experienced by listening, engaging, and trusting? And let me just say right off the bat that we've got a long way to go, right? I mean, building a business it's not a straight line. It's back and forth and up and down and so forth. Having said that, I'm excited that our FBR scores for 2017, all 8 categories went up significantly, over benchmark in many of those areas. 89% of the franchisees said that One Carnegie is good for the business and that the company is going in the right direction. Our I-teams, we've doubled down. We've got more franchisees participating in these I-teams than ever before. We've created new I-teams, a board of conduct. When issues come up between franchisees, those issues go to a franchisor board of conduct to address. We have a strategic relationship with the Dale Carnegie Franchise Association. They are truly a strategic partner. We meet quarterly. We talk about strategy and vision of the business. And all of these things have propelled us as a business. I mean, frankly, from a business standpoint, it's been good for business. The business has grown. We've seen the number of global sales increase dramatically. So we're very excited about the results that One Carnegie has created. And the fact that it's made our franchisees feel valued and appreciated is so important, so critical, because frankly, they are in the field doing the transformational work of Dale Carnegie. So what does all this mean to you? I'll share with you, when I was in Chicago, I said to our franchisees that the single most important responsibility that I have as the CEO is to unlock greatness. Unlock greatness in my leadership team and in our company and in our franchisees and our customers. And you also have that responsibility because you and I are leaders. As franchisees, as franchisors, our opportunity in the world, we all have a mission in the world. It doesn't matter what your business is, you have a mission, and it's a great mission to do something positive in the world. Maybe you make donuts or ice cream. I'll tell you what, you create joy. Look at the faces of people who consume your products. Maybe you make sandwiches or you're in the food business. You create sustenance. You nourish the world. Maybe you clean houses or offices or carpets. You know what? There's nothing like having a clean house or a clean office or a clean carpet. And we all know how bad things are when we don't. So we all have a mission, and at the same time, we can only achieve the mission that we have truly when we unlock greatness that exists within ourselves and our franchisees and in our customers. That is our opportunity. That's the thing that can and should drive us. So my advice, listen to your franchisees. Engage your franchisees. Trust your franchisees. And if you do that, you will unlock greatness in them and yourself and your business, and you will achieve phenomenal things in the world. Thank you.